What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great night. I thank you for taking the time. Thank you for hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, all the things you guys are doing to support me. Truly appreciate you guys. This has been quite the fun off season. You guys know we've been going through it all. We've been talking about every single thing we could, from free agents to the draft picks, all that great stuff. And then we saw how it all paid off, Howie making some huge moves. Obviously, I'm not too fond of the whole situation with Nate Erbig, but luckily he had a good draft. So I'm not going to get too pissed off about it. But if you missed that video explaining what actually went down there, go check that out on my YouTube page. But regardless of that, the Eagles are headed in the right direction. And we've talked about that since last year, with the draft picks, with the cap space that we have. We're always looking at the future, right? So we knew that we were set up. We just had to find out how he was going to do. So, oh my God, we acquired so many awesome players, from trades to, we got a couple of good free agents. We got, some pretty amazing free agents, to be honest with you. Kaiser White and Hassan Reddick, I love. But beyond that, we went ahead, had a great draft, grabbed a couple pieces we really needed in a nose tackle, a linebacker, got a center for the future. I really, really love what we did here. So I thought we could go ahead and take a look real quick at the depth chart. We're going to look at the offense, the defense, and special teams, give you a nice little look, a little picture for everybody to take a gander at, see where guys lie, see who I have as the starters, the backups, and of course, things will be moved around. But this is going to give you an opportunity to see everybody on the team lined up. You don't have to go through individual pictures like I'm always doing to you. And then I'm going to take a look at the draft picks for the next couple years here. We're also going to look at the cap space that the Eagles have this year and the next couple years. So we're taking a look at the ammo that we have right now, because a lot of people, still upset about the secondary. I understand that, because we talked about last year adding Steven Nelson. Not sure how far along old Zach McPherson is. So we're going to see what the Eagles do to address there. We know that the safety position, a lot of us were hoping for Tyrann Mathieu, but he made the decision to go back home and play for now the New Orleans Saints. So understandable. But the Eagles, we've talked about, what it looks like at the safety position. So not against adding a piece. And I'm going to, of course, after the NFC East breakdown we're going to do tomorrow, I'm going to have a little special on some trade targets. So we're going to go through that stuff. But right now, let's look at the ammo we have. We know that we can sign some people. We know that we can trade for some people. So let's take a look at that ammo we've got, and then we'll take a look at the depth chart. But first up, let's look at the cap space the Eagles have right now. Now that the A.J. Brown contract has gone into effect, we can take a look. Thank you to OTC over the cap for providing those numbers. But you see here, this year, we have $10,840,357. So we have a little bit of change there, but you have to realize that we indeed need to sign those draft picks. So we were trying to save some money there. And I don't know if OTC had Nate Erbig's contract considered off yet. I think they did. So that's what we're going with here. But either way, I'll keep you up to date if that number changes. But it always changes, because we know that Howie Roseman is at the helm, and Howie Roseman can go ahead and restructure some people. He can go ahead, cut some people, unfortunately. He can do a lot of things where, maybe you extend someone. And we talked about how we could trade for a wide receiver, because you can give people contracts where you give them guaranteed money up front, and then you back end that cap space. So these moves are possible. We can still add some people. So don't fear, ladies and gentlemen. But you see the next couple years, okay, $9 million the next year. That money's that's going to go up because of the TV deals, because we're going to roll over money. All these things are going to come into effect. The cap space will probably go up. So all these things happen, and you get more money. So don't fear there. And then you see the next year. Now that number was around 59 million, almost 60 mil. But of course, we talked about that is how we were able to be in the running for a big name wide receiver. So we went ahead, pulled the trigger, and we gave him that contract. And, some people, when I made that show a couple of months ago about trying to pick up a couple of those guys, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, we'll see what the Eagles do. Well, we talk about the money and people, I don't want to spend money. You got to pay the guy then. You don't want to trade him. It's like, well, yeah, man, you want to pay good players. And if I'm not mistaken, all I've heard about for the last few years is how he cannot draft wide receivers. So he went ahead with one of those first round picks. And instead of drafting and possibly missing again, he grabbed an all-pro wide receiver. I mean, the dude is awesome. I don't know if he's actually made it to the all-pro, but he is a Pro Bowler and he is awesome. And I think this dude is going to turn the game around for us. And, people, when we talked about AJ Brown, well, he doesn't want to play for a run-heavy team. It's like, have you watched the Titans? They run the ball a lot. Now, we are the number one rushing attack. Let's keep that in mind. So that's fine. What that's going to do is open things up for people and sure, he's not going to get as many targets. I wouldn't necessarily think he's one of my top fantasy free agent guys to go after. So look, I just think this is going to be an explosive offense all around, and it's going to give Jalen Hurts a chance to develop. So I'm all about it. Mrs. Bird Gang in the building. What is going on? Hope you're having yourself a great night. Hope you and the family are doing well. Appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate all of you out there taking the time. Whether you're watching this live right now or you're watching this later, I truly appreciate all of you. And I'm really pumped up. And I know that shortly here, it's all, we're all pumped up, the draft, all that stuff. We're still running on fumes for that. Like I'm running on fumes, I'll tell you that much. But jacked up as well, still deep in the heart. Now, you're going to go through the summer and it's like, there's nothing going on. I'm going to be providing content. We're going to be talking about the birds. But ladies and gentlemen, get excited. Stay excited because this season is going to be awesome. We said last year, I think these guys, if they, pull the trigger on a receiver, if they draft well, we could be a contender. And I think all those things happen where I think we could definitely be a contender. We'll see how they fill this roster out. But maybe you want to trade for somebody, not just sign somebody with that money we had. So we do have some draft picks. And we talked about having 2 first rounders next year. We know one of those is the New Orleans Saints, who, my Lord, could be a bad team. So if you get a top 5, top 10 pick, that's pretty awesome. You've got your first round, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. We got rid of our 6th, but yeah, you're doing fine there. And then you look at the next year, you've got 8 picks. You've got a 1st and 2 seconds, and then the rest of your picks. So remember how we fleeced the Saints, and we used all those picks and had a great draft. And now you have ammo to have an even better draft the next 2 years. If you want, you can do whatever the hell you want. I mean, it's up to him. We'll see. But he has done really well the last 2 years. But if you were to want to trade for a high caliber player, or you think a safety that, there's a lot that we're definitely going to talk about in that trade special. But, I think that all these things are possible. So that's why we're talking about them. And a lot of people say that it's just not possible. Well, that's why we show if something is possible or not. So you see the draft picks one last time. I'll show them to you here. And then we're going to get into this depth chart. But you see that we have cap space. We have draft picks for the future. Let's hope that Howie uses them wisely. We let go of a couple scouts today, a couple personnel people. And I think that's because they're getting other jobs. But you see how well Howie has done. You saw Catherine Reike last night getting a role under Andrew Berry in the Cleveland organization, almost GM-like. So Howie's been putting on a masterclass, and his pupils are moving up in the ranks. So I don't know what the strife is. I get it. We missed Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf. I hate it, but so did a lot of other teams. So I'm just trying to look at what have you done for me lately. And the last 2 years, phenomenal. Last year, dude, we get Landon Dickerson. It was, people have said about that. I thought that was a phenomenal pick with that 2nd pick. And, we did it again this year with Cam Jurgens. But those first 2 picks were pivotal to the success and the future of this team, and Devontae Smith. And then this year, Jordan Davis. We talked about both of them extensively. Both of those guys were my guys the last 2 years. So we get them. And I think they're going to be game changers. And you're going to see here when we look at this depth chart, I've got it broken down into certain positions that I think you guys are going to find interesting, because I've been saying it since last year. And people are like, I think we're going to use 3-4. It's like, I think we did all of last year. We predominantly are. We're a lot of hybrid schemes going on there. So it's a hybrid defense, but predominantly 3-4 is what I saw. So we're going to have different titles for people. We're going to talk about this. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let's look at the offense first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen. So you see here, obviously, you've got your starters in bold all the way to the left there. as the depth chart goes. But you'll see in green are the new players on the roster. So one guy that will be a starter for sure, A.J. Brown. Still can't stress enough how amazing it is that we have A.J. Brown. But start from the top here. Just wanted to explain that to you. So anybody you see in green, whether they're a rookie or a free agent, that's just new to the team. If you are interested in getting in-depth analysis, go check out that video of the free agents, the last video made on my YouTube, where it's an in-depth look at everything. So you can see where we need to add after this video. You can go back. I'll pin that video down below here in the comments. That way you can go right to it, check out all the free agents available, and you can see where would I like to plug in some of these pieces. But at the quarterback position, I love having Gardner Minshew as a backup, but I don't know if this dude really wants to be a backup. I think he could go somewhere, probably compete and be a starter. So I think for me, you could still possibly trade him during camp. Somebody becomes very quarterback needy. There are already teams that need a quarterback. So we'll see what they do. But if you were to get rid of Minshew, man, you'd have to bring in some kind of veteran, because you got Reed Sinnett and Carson Strong. And not to knock those guys, but yeah, you don't want that as your backup in case anything were to happen. So, but if nothing changes, that's a great quarterback room. Can't wait to see what Jalen Hurts does in year 2 as the starter. I'm really, really excited about that. And we build around him. Now, you're going to notice here the offense looks almost the same, minus that huge wide receiver we talked about. That's a game changer. We already control running that rock, and we're going to try to do it again this year. Now, we did not bring back Jordan Howard yet, but we talked about what we would do in the draft. Maybe grab a guy in the later rounds, maybe an undrafted kid. Well, we grabbed an undrafted kid in Kennedy Brooks there. You got Jason Huntley at the bottom end of the roster there too. So those guys are going to be battling it out. We know Huntley can bring special teams work, but you've got Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders, that running back by committee. It's just, a power back would be nice. So can Kennedy Brooks prove his worth, make the roster, or will the Eagles have to go out and pick up Jordan Howard or somebody else? So check out that free agent video. It goes over all the people that are available there. We'll take a look again in a second here, but let me check out these comments here. Rounds 1 through 3 this year and last solid. Dude, let's be real, Sean. Hell yeah. Because if you're looking at Sean Shank Redemption, if you're looking at, I'm sorry, but look, I think last year it was what? You go Devontae Smith, Landon Dickerson, Milton Williams, but then Zach McPherson. I have a lot of hope for him, man. A lot of athleticism, and we talked about he was raw, so he needed a lot of work. So let's see what, with some work, what you can become. Maybe he's thrown in the fire this year as a starter. I don't know. But after that, you had Kenny Gainwell. I even like Patrick Johnson and Teron Jackson. So I really loved last year's draft. And then this year, man, all over the place with the trades, everything that was going on, loading up for the future, all this great stuff. Man, I loved it, dude. I thought this was a phenomenal draft. So you went out, got the nose tackle I wanted, Jordan Davis. You're gonna see when I get to this depth chart here why that's so important to me, and too important to the Eagles, but why I've been stressing it. So got the nose tackle, and dude, then you trade for A.J. Brown. Like, holy what, dude? That in itself is like a draft winner. And then Nakobe Dean, the steal of the draft. Holy shit. And then Kyron Johnson. We talked about needing a Sam linebacker, right? A lot of confusion as to what he was going to play. There is no confusion. He is a Sam linebacker. We're going to talk about that in a second. But, dude, I think that we loaded up a great draft. And then even Calcaterra, dude, the tight end that used to play with Hurts in Oklahoma before he retired with concussions. That's a little concerning. And then he came back at SMU is where he went. So the kid's talented, 6'4", a beast, going to be great for a receiving tight end, but just hope he stays healthy. You want to hope everybody does, man, but we'll see. What is going on? Amber Terrell in the building. I hope you're having a great night. We're just going over this depth chart. Going to pop back the offense here in a second. What is going on, Sean? Again, Sean Shank Redemption. I have to say it. I'm sorry. One last time. That was it. But let's get back into this offense here. So we're looking at the receiving core. Okay. Now you've got A.J. Brown. You've got Devontae Smith. And now listed as slot wide receiver, I have a Quest. Now, I don't give a shit who you want to list where. Don't want to, if you want to call wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. I was literally pondering. I'm like, should I do X? Should I do Z? I'm like, you know what? Not going to confuse it. We got 2 top dogs, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, 1A, 1B, 1. I don't give a shit. Anyways, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they're going to take over. Cannot wait to see it. Quez Watkins, all of them interchangeable, can play the slot, X, Z. They're going to move around. You're going to see some magic made. I cannot wait. Then behind them, Jalen Reagor, what will he become? Can he prove himself? Will he be driven? We all saw he deleted a bunch of stuff. Maybe he's going to stay off social media, put his head down, get to work, and whoop some ass. I don't know. But beyond that, you've got guys like Deion Kane, who coming out of college, I think, there was a lot more hope for him than what has become of his career now. Now, in this system, we talked about Sirianni's relationship with him. Maybe he can help him out. Maybe he becomes something. But beyond him, it's John Hightower. So, a little, if it weren't for A.J. Brown, I'd be like, that's not great. I don't care. If those two, if they're healthy, holy shit, keep them in for every down. But then Quez Watkins, will be splitting some reps where you put Zach Pascal in. I thought Zach Pascal did pretty damn well last year in the slot. Not one of the top dog receivers in the league, but still pretty damn good. So adds a piece that we really need. I think in certain situations, he's going to be that slot guy, no doubt. And then you brought back a guy like Greg Ward. So you've got somebody that can help you in special teams. He helps you, all over the place. And I really like that. But then you brought in those two young guys that can return the ball. And we'll get to the special teams too. But Devon Allen and Brittany Covey both could try to get some work in the slot. If they can prove their worth there and provide something in the return game, they could definitely find themselves on this roster. But got yourself some battles there at wide receiver, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. And beyond that, at tight end, man, really, really excited to see what Jake Calcaterra can do. But Jack Stoll, we talked about being that H-back last year, really enjoyed what he brought to the table. Noah Togiai, so glad that he was brought back after he had left to the Colts, and then, how that all worked out. Got Richard Rodgers, he's going to compete. Old Man Rivers still here. Got the old Dick Rod out there. And then Jay Jaw switching to tight end, going to try to find himself a roster spot. The only reason he has a shot is because Tyree Jackson banged up, might not even play this year. So we'll see what happens. But you've got some guys ahead of Jay Jaw where I see people, he's going to be the third tight end. Best of luck to you, dude. But Calcaterra here now, don't see that happening. So tight end room, I'm excited about it. Going to see a lot of 12, 13 personnel. Stoll, Calcaterra. Man, really think these guys are going to shine here. And, we talk about that F-type tight end. We talk about all these guys, the Y tight end, Dallas Goedert, sitting on that line, doing his thing, letting these guys, whether they're playing an H-back role or that F-type tight end, receiving, lining up in the slot, whatever they're doing, you can move these guys around. And I'll be real with you, I'm pretty damn excited. You know how much I stress the 12 and 13 personnel, and I thought we're going after a tight end in this draft and an offensive lineman, which people didn't want to see, but we got those guys. So really, really pumped up about that. Think we'll need Jordan Howard, but I think some team might pick him up. But I like Jason Huntley. Well, with guys like that, veterans, they start getting up there at that age. They kind of wait things out. Plus, we hit the period earlier this week where after 4:00, teams won't get hit with a compensatory pick, get taken away by signing someone. So a lot of these guys, this is where they're going to sign. Well, they are not right now finding work because they're not exactly in their prime, right? So I think Jordan Howard, he's one of those guys where if he plays for the Eagles, then I think he plays. Unless someone becomes really needy. I don't know, man. I love Jordan. I think he proved a lot, and I think he deserves a shot. But I think he's kind of waiting for the Eagles to see, hey, I'm going to take time off, work out on my own time. I don't need to be going to any classes, doing anything like that. I've paid my dues. I've been in the league for a long time, and I get that totally. So if he wants to do that, Kennedy Brooks gets a chance to shine, show what he's got, because beyond that, nobody else is a power back. And they, if you really watch Kennedy Brooks, the reports will say, he's not strong. He's not a power back. Look, he's not a power back per se, but he's kind of like Jordan Howard. He's got all of the intangibles, and obviously he's not as far along as Jordan Howard, but he needs a lot of work. But the kid's fun to watch, and I get that people are excited about him. He can catch the ball. He needs a little work on his pass protection, but dude, he's got the skills, and I like the kid. But I'm not gonna. People are losing their minds. He's making the roster. It's like, hey, let's calm down. Let's see what he's got first. But if not, yeah, I think Jordan Howard would come back. So that's a good call. What's going on, my man? Howie Vision is solid, dude. We got it all on, man, and we gave the blueprint. And I know Howie's been watching the last few years because he keeps taking everybody. I keep saying so. Howie, good job to you. Good job to you. But man, I'm really excited, Mark. And I hope you're having a good night, dude. But I'm getting more and more pumped up about this season. Every damn day, dude. Brittany Covey, sneaky good. Yeah, man. We were just talking about him a second ago. And if he can provide that, slot depth, hey, he will make this roster. And Devin Allen, excited to see what he can do, but he hasn't played in 7 years. Now, he's got that Olympian hurdling and the speed and all that great stuff, and he's fun to watch, but it's going to be cool to see some competition in the return game because I stress that all offseason. But back to this offense, I mean, the line, I don't need to say anything about the line. Well, I do, actually, because he got rid of Nate Herbig. We talked about that earlier. You can check out the video from the other day on why it actually happened. But beyond that, we talked about the depth we had there. So was Herbig, was Sayamalu, or Driscoll going to win that right guard position? Because Landon Dickerson held it down. Mailata and he on the left, holy hell. Dillard getting jacked now. You've got lots of great depth, and he's still a trade piece. Got Kelsey in the middle back another year. Got his replacement in Cam Jurgens. Love it. Isaac Sayamalu right now for me is that right guard just because of Jack Driscoll still dealing with that MCL injury he had last year. So still not, he's still dealing with it, man. So it's unfortunate, but it's still a long ways away from football time. So maybe Driscoll can come back. What did he start, like 8 games last year, I think it was? So he really did well. And I would like to see he and Sayamalu come out here and compete. But Sayamalu was actually one of the most underrated linemen to me. So I think that Sayamalu is somebody that actually, is really good. And it sucks he's got to switch positions, but he's good enough to do it. And why not, dude? Because Dickerson was holding it down. So regardless of how that works out, maybe they switch. I don't care. But that line, again, one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So I think it's time to win that number 1 rushing attack again next year. Really excited to see that. Tyree Jackson was just mentioning him a little bit ago. Yeah, he's still banged up. There's no word. We're a long ways away from that, but he's definitely going to be banged up for the beginning of the season. Probably start off on the IR, all that great stuff. So we'll wait and see. But I love Tyree Jackson. Love the promise of that kid. I was so pumped up when he finally came back last year, only to get hurt. So sucks, but love the kid. So can't wait to see him come back, man. But I'll keep you in the loop. Whenever I find any kind of news out like that, I'll definitely let you guys know. Anything I'm allowed to tell you, I definitely will. Jimmy watched Sixers lose. Yes, I did. I enjoyed all of that. And it was one of those games where they just kept fighting back, keeping you watching, and not like I wouldn't watch, but it's just, you're like, oh, whoa, here we go. Whoa, getting your hopes up, man. And Nina, it broke my heart. So we're here. We're talking birds. If you just tuned in for Nina, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get to the defense in a second here, but I'm going to show you one last time. We were just looking at the offensive depth chart here, looking at these guys and the excitement that this offense is going to bring. We all know how well this offense was progressing each week, especially once we started running the damn ball, as you guys know I stress. So with this line back, with adding A.J. Brown, my God, Zach Pascal's a slot, all that stuff, man. I really think everything we just talked about there, oh, yeah, it's on. We're going to be a top 5 offense guarantee. We're going to stomp some people. And one of the things, though, that was a big stressor was, well, that defense. So we're going to get into that defense in a second here. Oh, yeah, you know it. The offense is going to be very, very scary because it all depends on Jalen Hurts, right? And we all know that. But the great thing was each week he got better. He developed. He actually did. And I know people, oh, he can't do this. He doesn't have a strong arm. That's bullshit. He does. It's the reads. It's his timing. All these things we've talked about. And he knows that, dude. He's never had the same system, the same coaching staff. And people think that's easy. Look, this kid is the most determined hard worker, and he does it with finesse, man. He learns all these systems, but we're going to find out what he looks like in back-to-back systems with a team building around him, going into the offseason confident. And look, man, people are getting on board now, but the Eagles have been on board, and we've been trying to tell people that. So I agree with you. I think this offense is going to be mighty, mighty scary because he's in Florida. He's doing work. No, it's not with Tom Brady. I know that report was out there, and that's all I can really tell you. But he's doing work, man, with some really great people. And no, it's not Tom House. But yeah, there's just great things happening, guys. And I can promise you he's doing everything he possibly can to get better. And that's all, as an Eagles fan, you want to hear, right? And I got close with the people close to so I can give you this damn information. And those guys are awesome. Not to just say, I'm not using them. Those are really good people. What a pleasure it was to go to the game with them last year and really just talk some birds, show them, I'm not just out here blowing smoke up asses. I know me shit. So that was a great opportunity for me. And I can't wait to get more opportunities like that and provide you guys with much better content, getting some interviews down there, doing some things that we got in the works. I can't wait to show you. But we're going to keep going with this, ladies and gentlemen. And any comments, questions, you want to see something again, Nina, if you missed, I'm going to show for her or anybody else that missed it. We did go over the cap space for the future now that A.J. Brown went into effect. And then we went over the draft picks for the future, showing that the Eagles do have some ammo if they want to trade, they want to sign. So we're looking at the roster here, but we're also seeing that there are ways to improve it. So we went over the offense. Now let's take a gander at that defense. So you're looking at this and you're thinking, what the is going on the left side here? So this is not going to look like your average depth chart here. So you're looking at the top, defensive end / offensive linebacker. Put the D end in there so people can understand what we're talking about. Could have just called him an edge rusher, but I wanted people to understand this is a hybrid scheme. And we will use the 4-3 still, but we use a lot of 3-4. We use 5-2. So many things when you're using different packages, different players come into play. So right now, we're just going to call these guys what they are. So you've got guys like Brandon Graham, who I wish I could just call him the Brandon Graham position because he plays defensive end in a 4-3, but he also can play defensive end in a 3-4, which is really weird for someone his size. But he can do it. He can play inside. But guess what? He's not going to have to do that. So this year, we don't need him to do that because we finally got the pieces we talked about, so that he would not have to do that. He could strictly be a pass rusher on certain downs. And, probably not going to see him as an outside linebacker, but who you will see in that sometimes, outside linebacker position in the 3-4, the defensive end in the 4-3, you got Josh Sweat, you got Derek Barnett. We talked about Teron Jackson being added. Matt Leo and the international player program is there. So you've got guys as edge rushers that, look, man, you keep a fresh rotation. That's some good defensive ends right there. Now, you're going to see some other pieces moved around. You're going to see Hassan Reddick come down, 4-3, play a defensive end, but I'm not calling him that because he's specifically another role more times than less. So we're going to keep it moving. Now, the next line, you're looking at, why the defensive tackle? Only one of them, Fletcher Cox. Why is Javon Hargrave not there? Well, he is in spirit. Javon Hargrave will be a starter in that 4-3. He will get the defensive tackle snaps. Oh, hell yeah. And Milton Williams, he'll get those snaps too. But those guys will be playing also. I should have just put a / defensive end because in a 3-4, those guys can play that defensive end position we've talked about. And that's where I think Fletcher Cox will flourish. And that's why we talked about adding a nose tackle, because a nose tackle is going to change the game. A 2-gap run stopping monster that, well, they say he can't pass rush, but yeah, that's cute. You'll see. Now, when you want to double team someone, best of luck to you. We can have a 3-man front there with the big boys of Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, and you can say your prayers. You can toss in Milton Williams, who's going to see his fair share of snaps. That kid, when Brandon Graham went out, we talked about he would be the replacement, not Derek Barnett or Josh Sweat, as people were saying, because it's a completely different role. So really weird how they use people, but I love it. I love it. You play to their strengths. So now you're looking at guys like Marvin Wilson, played nose tackle in Florida State, but not really big enough to do that in the NFL. But maybe he could help out, whatever. Regardless, we've been trying to add, but this year we did it. Nose tackle, Jordan Davis out of Georgia. Still can't believe we got him. I'm blown away that we have him. But that's a beast in the middle that we've been begging for. And, Marlon Tuipulotu, we drafted last year in hopes to play that. He couldn't even get on the field because, no, he should not be a nose tackle. Rennell Wren played some nose tackle in school. He should not be a nose tackle. But these guys will get a chance to compete with Noah Ellis, who is a nose tackle. And you can see his brother down there, Christian, with the linebackers. But these guys, I think, honestly, are going to have to really compete because Jordan Davis is just going to take all those snaps. They're going to compete for a practice squad spot because this dude, he's in a position of his own. He's a monster in the middle. And, a lot of people, I can't believe you'd use pick 13 on a guy that's going to change the game. Like I can. That's literally what our defense was missing. So you can see the other guys on that list, they're all green. And then you see Marlon Tuipulotu, who was here, but as I said, he couldn't even play. So we didn't even have anyone that could play that. So yes, desperately needed, and we got him. Now, we talked about being 31st in the league with 29 sacks. That was atrocious last year. So we needed to add guys like this, right? So we talked about the interior of the line. Now we got to get after that quarterback on the outside. So we are looking now. the Sam linebacker that we talk about all the time, that strong side linebacker. You've got Hassan Reddick now, ladies and gentlemen. If you tune in, that this was the guy I wanted in free agency. So I'm floored that he's on this team, but he gets to play that special role that we have, the Sam linebacker. And for the love of God, look, no knock on my man, Jannard Avery last year, but I'll be real with you, man. This is quite the upgrade here. Hassan Reddick, as we talked about last year, using that 3-4 so damn much. I think, honestly, I don't know what the best pickup is here of this year, but I just think that, man, I'm floored. I'm floored by looking at this right now. Like, I literally want to jump for joy. I'm so happy. Hassan Reddick. And then last year with Jannard Avery, okay? So you had Avery and Patrick Johnson there. Patrick Johnson, I thought did well for being a rookie, get thrown into the fire. Man, now that you have Reddick, you've got some backup. Patrick Johnson in his second year. We talked about Kyron Johnson when we drafted him. Oh, yeah, we were going to go out there as Sam linebacker in this draft. A lot of people didn't know him because of the fact that he played defensive end the last couple of years. He was an inside linebacker before that. So the kid's got a lot of versatility, which sounds perfect for a Sam linebacker role. Somebody that can put their hand in the dirt, somebody that drops back in coverage at times, because that's literally what Jannard Avery did, but not so great. Now, Hassan Reddick, he is quite the athlete. So I can't wait to see how he's used. Really pumped up. Then you talk about Ali Fayad. We added him after EJ Perry was let go because of already having a quarterback in place. We didn't know Strong was coming. But you grab another Sam linebacker. And then you've got Joe Osman, who was moved there last year, didn't even make the team, but he's back in the mix. He gets the chance to compete. But yeah, I finally am excited because we have depth at the nose tackle and Sam linebacker, where I told you last year it was not going to look pretty a lot of times because you just didn't have the personnel for what Jonathan Gann was trying to run. But what he was trying to run really gets me excited. So I'm really excited about the future of this team. And then you talk about the weak side linebacker, but also a guy that can play that nickel, that dime linebacker. Well, we got the steal of the effing draft with Nakobe Dean. So you got Nakobe Dean, and I really just can't stress enough how floored I am that he's on this team. And you also added Kaiser White. So you got the veteran, you got the draft pick like we talked about, and now we finally have linebackers. We don't have to talk about it anymore. We have linebackers. Now guys like Davian Taylor, TJ Edwards, Sean Bradley can play their roles. They can come in, provide that depth. They help on special teams. Oh, hell yes. But you've got those weak side linebacker guys. You've got the ones that are a little bit faster, more athletic, can cover the tight ends, running backs, certain guys. Nakobe Dean, he's going to be able to do it all. A 3-down, sideline to sideline linebacker. I'm floored that he's on this team. And same as Kaiser White, because those two, one was my top free agent linebacker. One was I can't believe it, man. So excitement is there for me, ladies and gentlemen. And then you've got the depth guys are not starters. So look at all that beautiful green, all those new players. You love to see it. Now we're getting to the part that everybody is petrified of. So I get it. Darius Slay, we talked about what a great addition that was, but we needed Steven Nelson. Specifically, we talked about him in free agency last year. Come on in. We cannot throw Zach McPherson in the fire. Well, we did. So that was a great idea. McPherson's got a year to learn. Now, I don't know, man. We'll see how far along he has come, but if that's their plan, well, it is what it is. So now we talked about McPherson's versatility. Thought maybe he would get a little chance inside first before outside. But with Avonte Maddox, holding it down at nickel, we didn't see as much dime, and bringing in Josiah Scott kind of, hindered that. So maybe McPherson is the guy outside. I don't know, because beyond that, you've got Tay Gowan, who you traded for last year with that Zach Ertz trade. Got Craig James here, special teamer who can help out. But beyond that, you have two undrafted kids in Joshua Jobe and Mario Goodrich. They can maybe play outside, and they did in college, and we'll see how they do at this level. But it's a little concerning. So I'm with you guys, but it's not over yet. That's why we're doing this show. We're taking a look at the money, the draft picks, all that stuff. And then I'm going to pin that show with all of the free agents available. Go check that out. Every single position that you want to see. And it's also a look at the Eagles roster. individually, so you can see where the holes are and all that great stuff. So go check that out. But ladies and gentlemen, the corner, I agree. It's a little concerning. But Avonte Maddox there did very well. We talked about he needs to be inside, so great move there. Got Josiah Scott healthy this year. We'll see what he can do. Mac McCain can help you. A versatile dude, can help as a free safety as well. Special teamer. Didn't really get to do that last year, but that's, what kind of player he is. Then you have Josh Blackwell, who also another guy who could maybe possibly help out outside, inside. We're going to see what these guys do in camp. You never know. He was really fun to watch, but that was at Duke, so you never know what the level of competition they're playing. So, hey, we'll find out. Now on to the safety position. Obviously, Tyrann Mathieu was everybody's wish, right? We're all praying for Tyrann Mathieu, but he went home. You can't blame him. We talked about it, all those fake reports all the time. Oh, he's signing here. It's like, dude, no, there's an offer on the table, and he gets to decide after the draft where he wants to go. And he decided to go home. So, hey, best of luck to you. But actually, Saints suck. So, hope you guys lose. Anyways, on to the safety position. Got Anthony Harris, a versatile dude, can play free and strong, but he's going to have to play free safety because beyond that, you've got Marcus Epps, Kayvon Wallace, and Marcus Epps, man, loved his game, loved him stepping up last year, but more of a strong safety. Same goes for Kayvon Wallace. Would love to see some big nickel with three of those guys on the field. Andre Saussure came in last year and helped out as the nickel, if you remember. So he provides depth that he can play free safety, nickel, a special teamer. So I think Saussure will make the roster this year. He was brought in because of the familiarity with Jonathan Gannon and Nick Sirianni. So I like the kid. Thought he did great last year. But he's got some guys behind him. Kerry Vincent Jr., another versatile guy that can play that nickel corner or free safety. And then you've got Jared Maiden, who got some time to play last year at the end of the season, if you guys remember, brought up to the active roster. So I like his game, man. Real tough hitter. He screams Philly. So I love Jared Maiden. And then you got the undrafted kid, Reed Blankenship. So I really think that this roster is fun, really fun to look at. The offense and defense improved where we said they needed to improve, got the guys of the future we needed. So all looking good right there, right? So we're going through the last. And don't worry, we don't leave out the special teams, ladies and gentlemen. We just don't do that around here. What is going on, backyard birds? We're going through this depth chart. We went over the cap space. We went over the draft picks. But I appreciate you tuning in. Almost finished up here, going through the special teams. If you missed anything, please do me a favor. Go check this out. Hit that like, subscribe, whatever you can do to help me out. I appreciate you guys. I do. Try to put in as much work as I possibly can for you. So hope you're having a good night, backyard birds. I appreciate you tuning in, my man. Oh, I appreciate you, dude. Thank you. I try to do as much as I possibly can for you guys, just trying to spread that brotherly love because I'm getting pretty damn excited about this season. So I hope you guys are too. Now, the one area we talked about, another one where, please, for the love of God, improve it. Now, we didn't do it in free agency, didn't do it in the draft. Now, go check out that show because there is one returner I would love to have who is a free agent still. So a little bit older, but he's a game changer. But we did bring in an undrafted kid and then a random dude off the streets a couple weeks ago. So now he's not just a random dude. He is an Olympian, but I mean, he hasn't played football in 7 years. So it's like, who's Devin Allen? I didn't even remember him. So we're going to look at the special teams here. Now, I have Reagor listed as the return specialist. Do not get pissed off at me. This is just how it ended. So I wanted to show you what it is. Now, we know that Jake Elliott is our kicker. He is also the kickoff specialist. We know that the punter is Sippos. We didn't bring in any competition. I think that would be wise to bring in a veteran. Go check out that show. We talked about punters even. That's where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. So Rick Lovato there, love him as long snapper. So it's gravy there. But the punter, who's also the holder, and the return specialist. Now, I don't know what Reagor's going to do in year 3. I always try to give receivers 3 years, but I don't know. So if he could at least maybe bring something to the return game, that'd be fantastic. It would. He had his spurts a couple times last year at least returner. So that was nice to see. But beyond that, I don't know. Now, you've got guys in this room like Zach Pascal, who was brought in. He can help you out there. You've got guys that have obviously done it in the past for us. Quez dabbled for a second there. Kenneth dabbled for a second. We know Greg Ward and Boston Scott kind of like your dependable guys, but not really what I'm trying to do there. Huntley, loved him in the return game, and if he can help out as a running back, maybe he finds himself a roster spot. I do really like that kid as I believe Amber had mentioned earlier. So really like Jason Huntley. And then John Hightower, who can't provide really anything as a receiver or a returner, and that sucks, man. Hope you figure things out, but not looking great for him because we brought in two guys that I think are finally going to push this damn return game. Because Brittany Covey, go check out the undrafted free agent special show. He is on there, highlight videos, his stats, all that, breaking down every single one of those undrafted guys. But Brittany Covey, he's got an extended highlight video because I just couldn't really pick a couple because this dude is awesome. So really fun to watch. There's also a video of Devin Allen out there from a few weeks ago on my YouTube. So go check those out if you're wondering about those guys. They can bring something to the return game. It's just, can you bring it in the NFL? So they are fun to watch at their respective schools, but I'll be real with you. It's a different game in the NFL. So you get your head knocked off the first time. We'll see how you do. See if you can hold on to the ball. I hope they can. And the thing I've said, though, is you got to be able to provide a little bit of depth at wide receiver because we've got some guys now. So, yes, competition breeds greatness. So I'm all about it, man. All about it. Let's go. Marcus Epps will have a better year than old-ass Honey Badger. I'm all about it, man. And look, Honey Badger would have been a great, mentor for him. I would have been all for it. Definitely all about it, to be honest with you. But, hey, he's gone, man, and off the radar. Epps is here. We talked about how great he did last year. Really try to get people on board last year with him, and I like him. So I'm not against adding veteran depth, though, to that position that could really use it because we don't know how Kayvon's going to come out. So, yeah, Britton Covey is the real deal, man. He really is. Hope they play better than the Flyers and Phillies. Got all like that. Yeah, man. Yep. Brittany Covey will be our returner. He had record break. Yeah, he was good in college for sure. Marcus Epps lays wood, indeed. Oh, yes, he does. Think we should go after Kevin King. Go check out. Chris, I thought you were talking in that video with Kevin King. Maybe that was somebody else. But, yeah, we talked about Kevin King in that video. One of my top guys that's versatile inside, outside. I'll post all these videos. So what do I got to post down there? The free agent one. Got to do the – all right, so he's in the free agent one and then the cap. Okay. I'll post those down in the comments. If you guys are watching this, you're watching that later. Definitely tune in. So whoever it was talking about Kevin King, you know that I am interested. But Christian, yes, man, very interested. Wasn't you? Yeah, I thought it maybe was you. But yes, Christian, I would be all aboard adding to this secondary. So give me a corner, give me a safety, give me whatever. But you saw the money. You saw the draft pick. So it's not just guys you can sign. You can trade as well. So we talked about going to do that NFC East special tomorrow, talking about all the teams' drafts. And then the next day, I'm going to get into some of the trade targets. And a lot of those guys we talked about, one of them, when we went through the free agent trade targets before free agency, James Bradbury, he could be released here. And you guys know how adamant I was about not taking on that cap hit, but definitely taking on a veteran corner like James Bradbury. So that's one. If he becomes free, you definitely add him to the room, and, well, we're winning that Super Bowl. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get rolling out. That was it. That was your depth chart, your cap space, all that stuff you need to know for the future, and know that the future is bright for the Philadelphia Eagles. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you need anything, you can always reach out to me, whether you want to talk about birds, life, anything, and I'm dead serious, man. And those of you who do, I truly appreciate the family, the friends I have made, all you guys. I appreciate you. I do. But if you need anything, please reach out. I know there were some tough losses in Philly sports. And, hey, in 36 years, this is just something that it's a perpetual kick in the lower regions. So it's just something, it never gets easier, but you just kind of go with it. But that's why I created this, because I need to talk about my birds, even when they're killing me, to get that escape. So I appreciate you guys escaping with me. And if you haven't escaped before, this is your first time, well, I appreciate the hell out of you tuning in. If you would hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, next time you'll be live with me and we'll be talking birds. And I can't wait, man, because every single person I get to meet every time, man, I just get more and more excited, because we just need to rise up and let the world know the birds are coming back, baby. They're already seeing it, dude. They're already scared. You see it. And I love every second of it. But I'm going to get rolling out, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have yourselves a great night. I'll be back tomorrow with that NFC East, all the draft grades for all 4 teams. Hope you're looking forward to that. But I'll pin some videos down below that we were talking about throughout this video. If you need me, reach out. But have yourselves a great night. And as always, go Birds!